This audio web novel is an original narration using my own voice. It's made for listeners who want to enjoy the story in audio form, and it is not a replacement for the original web novel. If you enjoy the story, please support the original author. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Extreme Highlights Audio Novels. Chapter 4198, The Spirit Wondrous Realm. The great door was fully opened, a curtain of light descended over it, and from outside nothing within could be seen. For the first time, the Myriad Marvels Gate opened in its perfect form to welcome a guest. Lin Moyu entered the gate, becoming its first guest. The unique aura of the Myriad Marvels Gate radiated outward, practically spreading through half the heavens and earth. In nearby worlds, powerful beings were awakened and soon rushed over. Even Eternals and great Tao Lords from afar sensed the gate's presence and made their way toward it. After a brief teleportation, Lin Moyu arrived at the center of a vast plaza. The plaza was enormous and circular, covered in cracks, clearly the aftermath of a colossal battle. High above, many shattered thrones floated, but none had left the bounds of the plaza. An invisible force within the plaza restrained them, keeping them suspended, preventing their departure. Lin Moyu noticed many threads of law. Most were already broken, a handful barely intact. It was these threads that bound the ruined thrones, supporting them in mid-air and confining them within the plaza. This method used the realm's natural laws directly more advanced than traditional formations. It wasn't so much about being stronger as it was about reaching to the realm's very foundation, something only a transcendent could achieve. Clearly, the creator of the plaza was a transcendent. Unfortunately, now the plaza was ruined, the realm destroyed with it, and the laws within this trapped domain were damaged as well. 9 thrones. If my guess is right, one of them should belong to the Myriad Spirits Pavilion, and the others must be sect powers on the same level. In other words, there are at least several sects with transcendence in the 4 realms. He quickly found the throne belonging to the Myriad Spirits Pavilion, among the 9 broken ones even shattered. The details revealed its exquisite craft. This confirmed his deductions, if not completely correct, then mostly accurate. The degree to which the gate opened determined how much of the realm one could access. With the gate opened to 9 rings, one could see the Myriad Marvels tablet and learn techniques, thus entering the corresponding sect territory. For a realm already broken, to still maintain this system seemed unnecessary to Lin Moyu. Now, with the gate perfectly opened and finding himself in the plaza, it meant this place once held extraordinary significance within the realm. Lin Moyu slowly flew around, sweeping his gaze over the whole plaza, then noticed something. A half-ruined tablet lay on the ground, originally over 100 meters tall. Now only less than half remained. The tablet was made of special material, a rare treasure, not ordinary stone. The material matched what the Myriad Marvels tablet was made of, suggesting this tablet too recorded something important. Channeling his soul force into the tablet, Lin Moyu awakened it. After countless years of slumber, a flood of information surged forth. Hurry, get out. Fools, what you're doing will doom the realm. Move aside, we're charging into chaos, becoming a chaos realm. Quick, throw that thing away, now. His vision blurred as he saw a series of fragmented, chaotic images. He heard myriad overlapping voices, each reciting different disordered tales. Lin Moyu accepted all of the chaotic information, no matter how jumbled, and then calmly set about sorting it out. With his current cultivation, no matter how chaotic the knowledge, he could organize it given time. He knew that the smashed state of the tablet was the cause its records now scrambled and incomplete. He could only try to piece together what happened from these remnants. Fortunately, the information recorded was vast and extremely detailed. Slowly, Lin Moyu reconstructed the events. Outside the gate, powerful figures gathered, great Tao Lords from nearby worlds, even several Tao Lords from afar. Yet, all kept their distance in this place. They were mere extras. The true major players were several Eternals. It's the Undying Lord's puppet. So this gate was opened by the Undying Lord. He made it so grand. Human Emperor, how far is the gate open? Several Eternals looked to the Human Emperor, since he had once opened the gate to 9 rings and was most qualified to judge. The Human Emperor said, "This is the Undying Lord's second time opening the gate. Last time was 9 rings, but now it's 10 perfect form. Their astonishment was clear. They knew how difficult perfect opening was. The human emperor added, "The gate is now perfectly open. Are any of you interested in going in?" His words, tinged with jest, prompted immediate unanimous refusal. It was Lin Moyu who opened the gate. Any opportunity should be his. To enter now would be to compete with him, risking his displeasure. No one was foolish enough to court disaster, especially with someone who could shatter the cursed Tao and slaughter Eternals. The human emperor said, "Then let's wait here. I'm quite curious what Lin Daoist will gain." At last, Lin Moyu finished organizing the information from the tablet. From it, he learned part of the realm's history. This realm was called Ling Miao, Spirit Wondrous, and it had 9 top-level transcendent sects, with the Myriad Spirits Pavilion among them. The realm once held as many as 20 transcendents, a seemingly formidable number. Yet curiously, despite so many transcendents, none ever led their sects into chaos, breaking free of the realm to become a force of chaos. There were many benefits to merging into chaos. At least they would no longer be constrained by realm rules and could draw power straight from chaos itself, increasing their foundational level greatly. The tablet didn't state explicitly why this never occurred, but Lin Moyu surmised that it was because they were not strong enough. Chaos was dangerous, they dared not attempt it. This confirmed Lin Moyu's earlier judgment. The transcendents of Ling Miao realm were not superior to the Eternals of the 5 world realms. Ling Miao realm itself was inferior. Because it was weak and its ceiling low, it produced many transcendents, but these very same transcendents didn't dare venture into chaos, instead seeking to remain here even after transcendence. The records included traces of their debates. Someone wanted to turn the whole realm into a chaos realm while others opposed. Later, it seemed someone obtained a certain object, which attracted powerful enemies. Unfortunately, the most critical information had been lost. Lin Moyu could only cross-check this with what he learned in the Myriad Spirits Pavilion. Before we continue to the next chapter, make sure to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you more of your favorite web novel content. Chapter 4199, The Core of the Ling Miao Realm. Lin Moyu stood motionless in the plaza as his undead servants flew in all directions, searching for a way out. Meanwhile, he delved deeper into the information about the Ling Miao realm, cross-referencing what he had gained this time with data previously obtained in the Myriad Spirits Pavilion. This allowed for a more thorough and complete understanding. According to Wan Zongling, a holy spirit, transcendent cultivator who disliked being called Pavilion Master, the domain's destruction was due to the Myriad Spirits Pavilion provoking a tremendously powerful realm while searching for worlds. Experts from that realm retaliated, destroying both the Myriad Spirits Pavilion and the entire Ling Miao realm. Yet, based on recent findings, things seemed less straightforward. Although Lin Moyu believed that the pavilion did anger a stronger domain, that was not the principal cause of the Ling Miao realm's destruction. Rather, what the pavilion did became the catalyst. Something must have happened after that which truly led to the outcome. The Ling Miao realm had at least 20 Holy Spirit level transcendent existences. If, when outmatched, they truly wished to escape, they could have fled into chaos. Yet it appears all the experts died, none escaped. Was it that they did not want to run, or could they not flee? That was the question. And why did the destroyed Ling Miao realm appear here? The Wan Miao Gate clearly must have been forged later. When the Ling Miao realm reigned in its prime, no one would have thought to make such a gate. Layer by layer, the fog was lifted, and Lin Moyu began to form his own view on the collapse of the realm. He was about 80% certain the root cause was not the domain provoked by the pavilion, but rather something discovered there afterward. Behind the realm antagonized by the pavilion, there was an even mightier being who personally destroyed the Ling Miao realm. Yet the Ling Miao realm did not actually perish entirely, it ultimately escaped. This meant that that thing did not end up in the hands of the attackers, but remained in the Ling Miao realm. What could it be? Lin Moyu was now very interested. Just what was so precious as to lure such a high-level expert, and how did the Ling Miao realm, already devastated at the end, managed to escape. The Wan Miao Gate, likely forged in the final moments, was also a mystery. How it was made, Lin Moyu couldn't imagine. In the end, he could only infer that everything revolved around that object. His undead servants finally made a discovery. Upon leaving the plaza, they encountered spatial turbulence. The void outside the plaza was already shattered, filled with chaotic and broken space. The undead traversed this chaos, teleporting again and again, and at last detected several relatively stable areas of space. Through his bond with them, Lin Moyu quickly fixed their positions about 3 million li away. Still, the void between himself and the servants was so broken and turbulent that even the Tao of space couldn't open a passage. If Lin Moyu tried to cross himself, he might be warped to some unknown place. He then unfurled the projection of the Great Thousand World, intending to use the space Tao within to teleport. Instantly, the space around the plaza collapsed. The realm was dead and could no longer withstand the impact of his world's projection. Daos floated up from the domain, all of them shattered, lingering only as fragments around the broken edges. From these, Lin Moyu could faintly sense the core of the Ling Miao realm, a core that was already near collapse and could take no more strain. He retracted the world's projection, which let the realm stabilize. Since forceful passage would not work, his only option was to analyze his current location. It dawned on him. This plaza and the surrounding void constituted the very core of the Ling Miao realm. Unlike the 5 realms, the core here contained no divine runes or formations, just a plaza. Amazing the realm core is actually like this, he mused. It was his first time seeing the core of another domain, and he was intrigued. He crouched, touching the ground to sense the plaza. Gradually, he sensed vitality. The plaza actually had a pulse, and each one released considerable power like a beating heart, maintaining life. Though now broken, with only the faintest beat left, it was this remnant pulse that had kept the Ling Miao realm from disintegrating completely across the ages. At this point, the Ling Miao realm had become a vegetable. Its heart still beat, but it had lost consciousness. The moment that pulse stopped, the entire realm would collapse. Lin Moyu gently sent out his will, careful not to startle the core's extreme fragility. Soon, his consciousness enveloped the entire plaza and spread outward. The shattered void outside the plaza reflected how badly the core was damaged. His will threaded through this broken space, expanding bit by bit. He saw several stable areas of space, then extended his sense to other parts of the Ling Miao realm. Though badly shrunken and battered, the domain's breadth was still considerable. His soul power was quickly draining, but the world tree replenished it without end. He soon sensed not only the core but also the worlds outside, which had shrunk many times due to the domain's damage. He perceived the myriad spirits pavilion he last visited, which is actually a world itself, or more accurately, the most important part of a world. That world was destroyed save for the pavilion's area. The pavilion had survived because its region was stabilized by Holy Spirit level experts who reinforced it during the disaster. He sensed several other surviving worlds, all like the pavilion, once hosting transcendent cultivators whose power enabled some of their worlds to persist. All other worlds, lacking such pioneers, were wiped out. By channeling his will via the core, Lin Moyu came to understand the general structure of the Ling Miao realm, the plaza at the center, and hundreds of independent spaces around it, each containing a Tao. Every Tao represented a cultivation path mirrored in one or more worlds. As such, everyone in a given world cultivated the same Tao, likely spending their whole life unaware of others. Only upon reaching the highest levels would any realize the existence of other Taos. According to Wan Zongling, this was both the reason for the Ling Miao realm's rise and for its eventual fall. The Taos are not evident success stems from this, and so does failure. Before we continue to the next chapter, make sure to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you more of your favorite web novel content. Chapter 4200, Smash It. Lin Moyu didn't need to go to other areas anymore. Once he discovered he was standing right on the realm core, he could sense the entire domain through it. This method wouldn't work in the 5 world realms, those are simply too vast. His soul power couldn't even sense a 10,000th of it. The former Lingmiao domain was also large, but now only a small portion remained, allowing him to sense the whole domain. This greatly simplified matters. Though soul sensing wasn't as effective as observing with one's own eyes, it revealed different things. Using his senses, Lin Moyu surveyed the domain again and again. Meanwhile, his undead servants were not idle. They found most of the void storing remnant Daos. There were 699 spaces, meaning there had once been 699 Daos in the Lingmiao domain, far fewer than in the 5 world realms. The fewer the Daos, the simpler the domain, the lower its limit, and the weaker its power. So the Lingmiao domain could never compare to the 5 world realms. In Lingmiao, even a saint spirit, what others called a transcendent, at best equaled an eternal of the 5 world realms. Lingmiao domain, in the wider chaos, wasn't even among the weaker realms. There are domains even more feeble. In those 699 spaces, most Daos had already collapsed. A few were remnants, barely hanging on at the edge of destruction. If not for the core, they'd have been gone already. The core itself wasn't maintaining this by its own strength. Lin Moyu sensed a strand of energy from outside the domain. This mysterious force was all that kept the core alive. Finally found it. If I'm not wrong, this energy strand is just what those strong ones are always seeking. It's because of that thing the Lingmiao domain managed to run here, reforged the Myriad Marvels Gate, and kept the domain intact because it used that thing. Lin Moyu sharpened his senses to the limit, trying to trace the energy source. It was extremely faint, flickering in and out, making it hard to find. He wove a net of intent, searching layer by layer. He sensed the force's arrival as it pierced the void and entered the realm core, moving quickly and warily in the shattered space, making its origin hard to track. He failed many times in a row. In this process, Lin Moyu noticed a pattern. Every 10 minutes, the force reappeared, always in a different spot, but it always entered the core to sustain it. He could sense a bit of its properties. It had obviously been refined and held faint traces of chaos energy. Lin Moyu guessed this thing was drawing chaos energy in from chaos itself, refining it and using it to keep the core alive. Unbothered by his previous failures, Lin Moyu kept up the search. If 10 tries wasn't enough, he'd do 100 or 1,000. He believed he'd find it eventually. Unconcerned about the heavy drain on his soul power, he cast a wide net with his intent. Finally, his efforts paid off. Though the force appeared randomly, there was a pattern. Each appearance circled the core, never straying away nor drawing close. With dozens of tests, Lin Moyu mapped out its route and could predict the next site. Once he locked in the spot, he zeroed in, focusing all his strength where the power next appeared. With his soul force, he forged a giant eye, staring intently at that patch of space. Through it, time slowed to a crawl, every subtle shift laid bare. Time through the eye slowed by at least 1,000-fold, everything gradually revealed. At last, the force surfaced. "Open!" Lin Moyu shouted in his mind. The instant it showed, his soul force erupted, shattering that part of the void. It might jar the already fragile core, but he couldn't be concerned about that. Now he had to get the object. His instinct screamed this thing would be useful to him. Even if it wasn't, anything capable of sustaining a domain's life had to be extraordinarily powerful. He had to find a way to grab it. Otherwise, why go through the trouble to access the Myriad Marvels Gate in perfect form? If not for this, there'd be no meaning. The void shattered. The object hidden within, that had been keeping the realm core alive, finally surfaced for just an instant, but enough for Lin Moyu to see it clearly. It's that. Who would have thought the object keeping the core alive was the Myriad Marvels tablet? Lin Moyu was surprised. He hadn't expected the thing sustaining the domain was the Myriad Marvels tablet. On reflection, it wasn't so odd. The first thing he saw when he entered had been the tablet. Looking back now, the best preserved thing in the entire domain was this tablet. The tablet flashed. A strand of power shot out, weaving through the void, entering the core. Then the tablet vanished again. Lin Moyu didn't chase it, would be pointless. Now that he knew what it was and the pattern of its movement, he didn't have to worry about it escaping. The key isn't the tablet itself, but what's inside, Lin Moyu murmured to himself. He'd handled the tablet before and knew it contained the secret techniques of every faction in the Ling Miao domain. By his experience, there were only two ways to get something from the tablet. One, refine it and make it recognize you as master, then you'd get everything inside. Two, simply smash the thing and take whatever's within. The second method sounded impractical. The material was so tough it survived world-shattering wars undamaged. How could it simply be smashed? But Lin Moyu did have a way. He was sure the Scrouge scepter could handle it. As for the first method, that was the truly unreliable one to Lin Moyu. To fully comprehend all the tablet's techniques, even he wasn't confident, better just smash it. Thinking it over, Lin Moyu made his decision. It was the cleanest, simplest route. He didn't need the tablet itself, only its contents. Whether smashing the tablet would destroy the entire Ling Miao domain wasn't his concern. He figured it was already a miracle the domain had lasted this long, no point dragging things on. There were surely many domains like Ling Miao in chaos. If this one collapsed, so be it. If a heritage line ended, it ended. None of that compared to tangible gains. Having made up his mind, Lin Moyu began to prepare. He continued tracking the tablet's appearances, getting more accurate in his predictions, intent on striking just once and ending it in one blow. He didn't want to make repeated attempts, he wanted decisive victory. He began to send out runes, arranging a formation at the selected site. Before we continue to the next chapter, make sure to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you more of your favorite web novel content. Chapter 4201, The Fourth Gem. Having decided to no longer care about the Ling Miao domain, Lin Moyu could act freely and with peace of mind. All of the undead servants were recalled. In this matter, the undead servants could offer no assistance. Divine runes shimmered in the void, stabilizing part of the void, but at the same time causing a slight impact on the domain core. Lin Moyu managed the process well. The impact was not strong, still within the tolerance of the domain core. This approach was like dancing on the edge of a blade. If the domain core collapsed at this moment, the result would be unpredictable. When a domain core collapses, it inevitably releases terrifying destructive force, and the void will also shatter. Lin Moyu was not concerned about injury to himself, but worried that the myriad marvel tablet might be forever lost, whereabouts unknown. If the myriad marvel tablet fell into chaos, it would be nearly impossible to retrieve it. Thus, his only option was to be extremely careful, yet even so, there was no absolute guarantee. If the domain really collapses, then it wasn't meant for me. I cannot force it, Lin Moyu thought. The fragility of this domain core stood in stark contrast to the former stability of the Wanling Pavilion. Normally, a domain core should be even more stable than elsewhere, but here it was just the opposite. The domain core was extremely fragile, while other areas were relatively much more stable. Lin Moyu's fingers danced on the edge of risk, constantly touching the limits of the domain core, but fortunately the core held up until the formation was complete. Taking a deep breath, Lin Moyu had completed half his plan. Next came activating the formation, which would cause another shock to the domain core, even stronger than during the setup. He had other methods prepared, but whether he would succeed depended on luck. He held his breath and waited for the right moment. The myriad marvel tablet kept shifting position, sustaining the domain core for one more moment, and gradually coming closer to Lin Moyu's predetermined spot. Getting closer and closer, Lin Moyu silently counted down in his heart. As the final second arrived, Lin Moyu flicked his finger. Formation activate. Waves of tremendous power shot out, locking down the void as the formation activated, and so did the Great Thousand World. Lin Moyu projected the Great Thousand World again, its vast power working together with the formation to tightly lock the void. The domain core again showed signs of breaking, but Lin Moyu no longer cared. He only needed the domain to last another 3 to 5 seconds. The projection of the Great Thousand World instantly expanded like a net, forcefully enveloping the domain core and slowing its collapse. Almost at the same moment, the Catastrophic Scepter appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. His body grew larger and his arm lengthened. He used all his strength to smash the Catastrophic Scepter outward. When he first swung, the targeted spot was empty. Only as the catastrophic scepter reached the area did a faint shadow suddenly appear. Lin Moyu's timing was extremely precise, with an error of less than a 10,000th of a second. At the instant he struck, the myriad marvel tablet manifested in the void. Boom! The myriad marvel tablet was struck, covered in countless cracks, and sent flying backwards. The formation gripped the tablet tightly, not letting it escape. Not only the formation, but also the Great Thousand World exerted force to stop the tablet. Within less than a thousandth of a second, Lin Moyu's second blow arrived. The catastrophic scepter turned into afterimages, raining down on the myriad marvel tablet in a storm. Cracks spread rapidly, and it seemed about to shatter. Faint, peculiar auras wafted out of the tablet. Lin Moyu's expression changed drastically. The catastrophic scepter in his hand was actually trembling. The soul gem, elemental gem, and balance gem all shone with light simultaneously. Even though Lin Moyu hadn't activated them, they all glowed at once. Could it be? A thought formed in Lin Moyu's mind. Could the treasure inside the myriad marvel tablet be the fourth gem of the catastrophic scepter, if that's true? Lin Moyu's heart raced. He had never been able to find the fourth gem, and now it was about to appear. The fifth gem was in the Ferry of Calamity, and to board the ferry again, the mysterious figure's requirement was to find the fourth gem. Though Lin Moyu had searched for it, he had never succeeded. He knew finding the fourth gem was harder than searching for a needle in a haystack. He'd long given up on actively searching, leaving it to fate. He even wondered whether the fourth gem wasn't in the 5 world domains at all. After all, an artifact like the catastrophic scepter surpassed the domain level, so it would be quite normal for the fourth gem not to be within the 5 world domains. To his surprise, the fourth gem appeared here. Trying to calm himself, Lin Moyu remembered that the myriad marvel tablet wasn't something from the 5 world domains, but originated from the Ling Miao domain. If his guess was correct, the treasure was the fourth gem, and it actually led the broken Ling Miao domain here. But for all 5 gems to come together in one domain struck him as odd. Could it be that the gems attract each other, thus gathering in the same domain? This possibility wasn't impossible. Treasures have spirit. With an artifact as advanced as the catastrophic scepter, a hint of spiritual connection might draw them together by fate or cause and effect. Lin Moyu's mind raced, but his hands didn't stop. He wanted to see exactly what the fourth gem was. The first 3 gems, one dominated souls, one controlled elements, one held balance. All 3 seemed unrelated, yet there was a subtle link among them. Lin Moyu truly couldn't guess what the fourth gem might be, or what it would do. After smashing down more than 1,000 times in an instant, the myriad marvel tablet finally couldn't take any more and exploded with a deafening crash. To withstand so many strikes from the catastrophic scepter, the myriad marvel tablet was the hardest object Lin Moyu had ever encountered, bar none. The catastrophic scepter's power was such that even the seeking cause ring struck a few times would be pulverized. That the tablet was so tough was surely due to the gem inside. When the myriad marvel tablet shattered, a fist-sized strange gemstone appeared before his eyes. It shimmered quietly, its surface displaying billions of colors, stunningly beautiful. At the same time, the whole gem radiated a noble and elegant aura that would entrance anyone at first sight. At the instant Lin Moyu saw the gem, it was as if he witnessed countless domains, and within them, countless worlds coming into and out of existence. He did not reach out to touch the gem, feeling it too noble for that. Instead, he extended the catastrophic scepter. The fourth gem quivered lightly, then, with a swoop, flew straight into the scepter, returning to its rightful place. With the return of the gem, 4 of the 5 gems were now in place. The catastrophic scepter was nearly complete. At this moment, the entire scepter trembled and burst out with dazzling, blinding light, while an immense flow of information forcefully flooded Lin Moyu's soul. Domain gem can refine domains, can also create domains. Lin Moyu was astonished. The fourth gem was a domain gem. Refine a domain, create a domain. Could such a thing even exist in this world? This was a domain, not just a small world. Worlds belong to domains and borrow the domain's laws and rules, so creating a world is barely plausible. But a domain is born from chaos. Evolving its own rules and great Daos creating a domain is simply not something a cultivator should touch. This is defying the will of heaven. Lin Moyu gritted his teeth and muttered. At the same time, a torrent of powerful information crashed into his soul. Before we continue to the next chapter, make sure to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. Your support keeps us motivated to bring you more of your favorite web novel content. Chapter 4202, The Past and Present of the Lingmiao Realm. Countless images appeared before Lin Moyu's eyes, revealing the entire history of the Lingmiao Realm, why it was destroyed, how it was devastated, and how it came to join the 5 world domains. This was the first gift the Realm Gem gave to Lin Moyu after it returned. In its prime, the Lingmiao Realm had produced a supreme cultivator, one who was on the verge of becoming the master of the realm. He was the one known in Wan Zongling's words as the Wanmiao Supreme. Though titled Supreme, he was not yet a true celestial sovereign. That status was his goal, his pursuit. Perhaps he might have reached it one day, but at that time he was still far off. He had already refined most of the realm's core, standing atop the Lingmiao realm and opening its core for all Saint Spirit cultivators to freely come and go. These Saint Spirits would often sit together in the core to discuss the Tao. In Lin Moyu's view, this man, though only outwardly at the peak of the Saint Spirit realm, possessed power far beyond that level, rivaling even the Candle Dragon after transcendence. Once he became Realm Lord, his strength would advance further, making him a leading figure even among transcendents, with a future as a true sovereign possible. For Lingmiao Realm to produce such a strong figure was exceedingly rare. Under his leadership, the realm did grow stronger, but he seemed to harbor ambitions of his own. Later, the Wanling Pavilion provoked another world from an immensely powerful realm. Thus began a war between realms. The Lingmiao realm was weaker and retreated throughout the conflict. The Wanmiao Supreme, then in seclusion, emerged early to join the battle and turn the tide. Even allowing the Lingmiao realm to gain the upper hand, he alone changed the fate of his world. Unfortunately, he was not a sovereign, not even a top transcendent. In a hard-fought balanced war, the Wanmiao Supreme was wounded, and the enemy somehow sealed off all of his treasures. At that moment, the Realm Gem was exposed but remained unsealed. The Realm Gem's uniqueness was obvious to those with sharp eyes, and so the war became a contest for the gem. Soon, someone arrived on the enemy's side, a top transcendent who easily subdued the Wanmiao Supreme. The Supreme was grievously wounded, the entire Lingmiao realm severely damaged. The enemy acted ruthlessly, caring nothing for the fate of countless lives within the realm. The death of a world would bring immense karma, but the Transcendent cared not. The gem's records showed that this figure was shrouded in mist, all karma isolated. To be untouched by karma, Lin Moyu had heard of this, but never seen it for himself. He wondered if it was by his raw power or some artifact. The difference was immense. In this moment of crisis, the Wanmiao Supreme and several surviving Saint Spirits gathered their strength to activate the Realm Gem. The Realm Gem could refine or create realms, and they used it to refine the Lingmiao realm. At the cost of their lives, they sent the refined world away. To avoid being tracked, especially to avoid soul-searching, even they did not know where it was sent. The Wanmiao Stele had existed beforehand. The Supreme's foresight led him to gather the realm's strongest arts and forge the stele long ago. As for the Wanmiao Gate, it evolved on its own from the gem. The gem itself, although without a will, had great spiritual power. Even the Supreme did not know that within the gem were many more realms apart from the Lingmiao realm. The Realm Gem had refined many realms, some complete, others like Lingmiao broken to pieces. Over the long years, these realms fractured and were ultimately devoured by the gem, becoming its power. Every realm it had refined met this fate. This process was contradictory yet logical. The gem both prolonged the Lingmiao realm's life and devoured it, like torturing a person, slicing away but healing, moving to another part after a while. Where once hundreds of cuts would kill, now tens of thousands could be made. The end was still death, but far more suffering unless perhaps the victim was unaware, or someone rescued him before the end. This was the meaning behind the gem's existence, a half-life, so to speak. Lin Moyu now understood the Lingmiao realm's history and sensed a looming threat. That powerful enemy surely would not give up. He was after the realm gem all along. If he discovered the gem was now with Lin Moyu, or that he possessed several such gems, he would certainly target the 5 world domains. With his current strength, Lin Moyu was no match. The secret of the realm gem and of the Calamity Scepter had to be kept safe. Within the realms themselves, leaks were not a concern, but the 2 figures at the 5 world core came to mind. One surrounded by many vortices, identity unknown, the other possibly Demon Husband, a powerful expert. Demon Husband was already imprisoned by the green-robed elder, but even so his avatar at the core remained, and as the avatar of a transcendent, none could predict its power. What had once been Lin Moyu's greatest trump card, the Calamity Scepter, now seemed best left unused unless absolutely necessary, and then only with absolute assurance of safety. With the destruction of the Wan Miao Stele and the loss of the Realm Gem, the Ling Miao realm lost all hope and began to collapse. Suddenly, Lin Moyu's will called out the Calamity Scepter. The Soul Gem, Elemental Gem, Balance Gem, and Realm Gem all activated in sequence, shining with beautiful light. The interwoven radiance was dazzling, so much so that even Lin Moyu, trained in Dao Heart, was nearly drawn in. Bathed in this light, the collapsing Ling Miao realm stopped crumbling. The realm's core miraculously began to recover. The Realm Gem had opened a passage to chaos, drawing in vast amounts of chaotic energy, converting it to the realm's primal force, which fully stabilized the world. Now the gem was not merely barely sustaining the Ling Miao realm, but actively healing it. This was its power to create realms. But to create a realm, it alone was not enough. The elemental gem supplied countless elemental energies, which became pure Dao power to repair the world's paths. The Balance Gem maintained order between these Daos, strength, direction, distribution, all managed. The Soul Gem released the most mysterious power. Lin Moyu could not comprehend it, but wherever its force touched, even the dead Ling Miao realm seemed to show signs of life, creating life. Even as master of the Calamity Scepter, Lin Moyu was shocked by this scene. That's all the chapters I'm able to narrate for today. I'm a one-man team balancing a full-time job, so your support truly means a lot. If you like my narration, drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll make sure to reply. Thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.